Greetings folks, Dice Kitty back again, and today I've got a component and gameplay review for Ticket to Ride. This is a very popular game from Days of Wonder, and lots of people love it, and that's actually our featured game coming up. We haven't even played it yet. I decided to go ahead and do the review stuff before we played it. So, the first part of the review here for the components is the board. This is a huge board, as you can see. There are some important things on the board just to mention for later for the gameplay review, and that's the point tracker going around it, and the actual tracks here, the train tracks. You notice how they're different colors and whatnot. That comes into play later, so we'll talk about that here in just a minute. So the board is your standard cardboard board for a board game. I mean, there's nothing super spectacular about it that I can note. I mean, it's wrapped well on the inside, so I don't think it's going to come peeling loose anytime soon. Alright, so first, ooh, I'm dropping stuff. The rest of the components, we've got, I'm not sure what size these are. These could be like the cards from Takanoko. They might fit the damage deck sleeves for X-Wing and Attack Wing. But I'm not sure. I haven't tested it. So we've got, I can't remember what they call this particular deck here. I think this is the Destination Ticket deck. And it looks like this. And each one has a different destination and a point total down here, which you try to accumulate the points by completing the destination. You know, getting your trains from Denver to El Paso for this one would score you 4 points. Or if you have this card toward the end of the game and you don't make that route, then, well, you lose 4 points. So that's the Destination Ticket deck. And then we've got our train deck, which looks like this. It's got a little train on it, different colors. And then this hasn't even been shuffled yet. So each card has different colored trains on it. Now, this is not in correlation to the player's trains. This is in correlation to the routes on the board. I'm trying to get this open quickly here. So you saw there were some black train cards and some pink ones. They correspond to these out here, not the player trains. Alright, we've also got the Trans-America Express card. This is for the player that makes the longest train route, and it looks like it has to be unbroken. So there's also a scoring aid card, which makes it very handy for those of us trying to keep score. We don't have to keep pulling out the rule book. The rule book's not super huge. That's it. So that ought to tell you right there, it's not a difficult game to play, but still, that's a big sheet of paper. We've already got a gigantic board. So this, I like this. Alright. For each player, there can be up to 5. They pick a color: black, yellow, green, blue, or red. And they get one of these little wooden scoring cylinder things. And the chip, we'll call it a chip. And it goes around the board as they score points. And that's for however many trains they have. So if they have, let's say they complete a route like this one here, from Vancouver to Calgary. If they complete that, that's 3 train cars. They score 4 points. So they take their little tracker, if it's say on 13, they go 1, 2, 3, 4, score up to 17. So that's what this little thing is for here. It also has a count of how many there are of each card on the back for the train deck, which is kind of cool too. Alright, so the player chips, the scoring aid card, the decks, the board. Transamerica Express, the last thing we have on here for components are the little trains. Each player, when they take their little chip for scoring, they also take and dump out their 45 little train cars. Everyone should have 45. The game comes with extras in the event that some get lost. Thank you, Days of Wonder, for thinking of that. That's such a good idea, because many gamers have children, and I'm sure children play with game components and lose them. So that is an excellent idea. I'm really glad they put the bag of extra trains in it. So, but, well, in the component review, I basically gave you an overview of how the game plays. Except for, you have to have in your hand, let me see, I know there's a blue 3. Hang on one second. Didn't have this set up and ready. Alright. So let's say I have these 3 cards in my hand. Alright, that's 3 blue train cards. And I have this route right here from Montreal to New York is 1, 2, 3 blue. Let's say I'm the green player. I will play or discard these 3 blue cards, and then I get to take 3 green trains and put them on this route. That means that route is mine. I claim it. So then I score points for claiming that route, and my little point tracker will go up. So the way this game, the end of it's triggered, is anytime a player would have 0, 1, or 2 trains left in their supply, the end of game is triggered. So that means the person after them gets a turn, that person gets a turn, then everyone gets one final turn, including that player. So if they trigger in game and they go down to only having 1 train left, everyone gets a final turn, and then they still have their final turn too. But there's not a lot you can do when you only have 1 train. So there are 2 train routes. But anyway, yeah, and then everybody tallies up any points that they need to tally, such as these here, the tickets. You lose points accordingly, and then whoever has the most, they win. And don't forget, whoever has the longest unbroken route gets this card too. So they get an additional 10 points because they did the most work to establish the most routes that are, well, the most longest route. Alright, well, oh, and just so you know about how big these bags of trains are, the big bag of trains. I pulled those out of the extra bag. See, they give you about 3 of each color, because I pulled those 5 out of this bag. So 3 extra of each color. That's awesome. Love it. Alright, well, I'm excited to play this game with everybody. And so if my locals are watching, I hope we have a lot of fun. I know we will. I've played this before. If you haven't played this game, for anyone who hasn't played this game, it is a very unique and interesting game. And it's not difficult. So you could potentially use this as a gateway game. It's easy enough. So I like it, and I think it's a great game. Components are good. The wooden pieces could potentially chip over time. That's if you're rough with them. The little plastic pieces, they're sturdy enough, like they're hollow, but if you squeeze them, they give a little, but they don't snap. They're not real paper thin. So that's good. The cards, standard cards, I would sleeve them. There's not a whole lot else to talk about. I'm trying to come up with things to talk about with this game because there just isn't a whole lot here, but there's so much there when you play. I don't know how else to explain it. So give the game a shot. Components, 2 thumbs up. Gameplay, definitely 2 thumbs up. Alright folks, board out, game on.